In a quiet English village in the mid-1980s, an ordinary home computer became the unlikely gateway to something profoundly unsettling. As personal computing was still in its infancy, the residents of Dodleston Hall began receiving messages that seemed to break every rule of time, technology, and reason. What started as a strange set of glitches and corrupted text soon evolved into full conversations with an unseen intelligence seeming to hail from the year 1547. The messages claimed to originate from the distant past, specifically the 16th century. The entity spoke of plague, famine, and religious persecution, describing a life that predated electricity, let alone computers. And yet, it typed fluently, asked questions about modern life, and appeared aware of events it should have had no way of knowing. Over time, the exchanges grew more personal, more emotional, and far more disturbing. Were the Dodleston messages an elaborate hoax, a psychological experiment, or evidence of something far stranger, communication across time itself? As the conversations deepened, so did the implications, blurring the boundaries between past and present, mind and machine. This case file, join the theorists as we boot up one of the most unnerving cases of technological high strangeness ever recorded in the Dodleston messages.
To the show, whatever the name of the show is. It's 367, case file 367. I'm Braden.
I'm Sal.
I'm Dan.
This is the most relaxed I've ever going to be.
This is
you guys actually
ridiculous.
Listen, if you are on Patreon, you get the bottom half of this video on my screen, and it is worth it.
You're wearing like
it's
a
worth
heavy flannel.
penny.
And sweatpants?
And
you got
I'm
there?
Winnie the Pooh in it. No, nothing on the bottom. Nothing on the bottom.
All
baby.
right. I was hoping he was wearing some pants.
That's how I keep cool. That's the best way to regulate your temperature.
You can wear an extra heavy sweater.
Extra heavy on top.
Yeah.
And then nothing on the bottom.
Hang loose.
No, I'm enjoying a peace and a nice real spa retreat for me this week. Away from the kids, the wife and kids. In a hotel.
By yourself, drinking Renner Red.
Did you bring that with you?
Yeah, I did. I brought 2 bottles.
This guy's fucking brought his whole PC.
Prison wine.
Dude, it's so
his
funny.
whole PC to a hotel for a week. So he can play our crazy.
I'm surprised he only brought 2 bottles, actually. It's like, I don't know why you just bring a case, like a whole case, just pack it in there.
Oh, hey, Zell, as a father, as a father, look at me, look at Zell, look at me in the eyes.
I can't podcast.
Look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes.
Oh, I can't fucking podcast like this.
You look, Zell, look at me. Tell me right now that you wouldn't do the same. Tell me right now if you were
do the exact same. And that's why it's so funny. Because I can.
It's so funny. The best part is I have a laptop. I could have brought the laptop. I could have easily brought the laptop.
You had to pick a whole fucking full tower PC, full height tower PC in your car.
Yeah. Dude, because I don't have a bin big enough.
Of wine.
Buddy,
you brewed in a bathtub at your house.
Yeah.
Toilet.
Behind the toilet. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you should drink it with a straw. Make it better.
I should have got a straw or something. You know what I should have put it in? A water bottle. Like one of the sports Just give it the old sports
Should
squirt.
put a little Stanley cup, like a Stanley cup with a straw. Yeah.
Dude, this is living. This is living, boys. The podcast is back. I can feel it.
This is how it started. Braden on the road.
This is, I'm feeling just back to my creative self while I'm lounging with no pants on, drinking Renner Red. And guess what? Because I'm by myself, I'm already half bottle deep, boys. I'm already half bottle deep.
You know what? Another crazy thing about this is you have a hardwired setup at home. Is nothing but problems. You take your whole PC on the road and you just plug it in and it works.
Dude, this isn't even my good PC. That's the crazy part. This is the backup PC that I honestly has been turned off probably for a month. Hasn't even been plugged in. I was like, I'm bringing it. Jamie's like, why don't you bring the laptop? I was like, I don't even know if it'll work.
Braden just brought this PC because just in case he starts receiving messages from the distant past.
Well, that's the interesting thing that, this case kind of dives into the like time travel realm. And if you guys remember remember the Mike Tyson time traveler, right? We've talked about him before.
Camera or whatever.
The weird guy in there with the camera. And there was a more recent one on TikTok. There's a guy who claims he's trapped in the future, and people were like, send me a picture of the Eiffel Tower. And he just sends a picture of like the Eiffel Tower with like a selfie, a video with him. And he's like, he says he's somehow got trapped in like 2020, like 2210 or something, like way in the future, and there's no one around. So he's like, I'm stuck here. I don't know what's happening. And it's like, it's a pretty interesting TikTok series.
But I can send TikToks back to you guys.
Wait, he's stuck in the future. There's no infrastructure, no one to run anything.
Yeah,
and
the TikTok servers are still running.
No, but his phone is connected to the past, to us.
Through like
right?
Like a quantum tunnel.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm here. I can communicate, but no one believes me. Right? No one believes me, but he's like, I for somehow can post on TikTok.
Hey, we'll still keep my phone charged somehow.
If anything like the case we're going to discuss is real, if it happened then,
brother,
why can't it happen in the future?
When I read this case, that we're talking about the Dodleston messages. I was like, have you ever seen the movie Frequency? This is basically what this is.
That's what you said. I was like, what's this about? You go, it's like the movie Frequency. And I took that as it's a movie I should have seen. So I was really thinking hard about it. And I was like, fucking Frequency.
What do you mean?
Never seen it.
You've never seen Frequency?
I've never watched it.
You guys have never seen Frequency?
Well, I knew the basic plot of it. And like,
dude, I don't know his name, but it's got that weird Christian actor in it before he got really like weird.
It's a 2000 film. It's probably awesome.
Yeah, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name? He's that weird Christian actor.
I don't know.
Has Dennis Quaid, Jim Caviezel.
That's the guy.
Caviezel.
That's the guy.
Caviezel.
Yeah, that's the weird right wing Jesus guy.
Hey,
he was getting person. Was
the guy's got a great last name. Don't you talk down upon him. Caviezel.
But it's Caviezel's
real weird.
I like it.
Caviezel.
It's he got really really strange. But that movie's fucking phenomenal, dude. If you haven't seen that movie, really good movie, banger,
dude. That's right that's at the pinnacle of movies too. Late 90s to like mid 2000s.
So the plot of that movie is little spoiler alert is that guy has like a CB radio because his dad was really into CB radios and his dad died like tragically, and so he hooks up like when he's an adult, he finds his dad's CB radio, he hooks it up, and there's like a powerful storm, and as he's fucking around with the CB radio, he actually connects to his dad in the past on the same CB radio. So he's actually corresponding with his dad and helps his dad like solve murders or some shit, like solve crimes in the past because he knows.
Love it.
And so, and then like, yeah, he like, I can't remember if he saves his dad's life, and at the end the dad comes like upstairs, he's like, I'm here, some like crazy shit. It's a good movie. It's a fun watch. It's a great timepiece for that year. But that's very similar to the Dodleston messages. I mean, they weren't solving crimes, but it's a weird one.
It is
I
strange.
guarantee you, though. I guarantee you, I could do this with my parents with Word documents on their PC. You know what I mean? Like any one of us could. You can save a Word document. I think there's a Word document I never put on my computer.
Well, now you could, but back then, could
This
you?
is before any cloud storage or any network connectivity.
Well,
was
that's
like
the weird.
thing.
That's the weird shit about
It
this
is
one.
strange. Yeah.
All right, Dan, what is this fucking? Where are these Dodleston messages?
The Dodleston messages are named after Dodleston, England, where this place is like it's like in the northwest. I believe like is in the northwest, northeast, and you have
Northwest,
a
northeast,
northwest,
southwest,
one of those two.
southeast.
Southeast.
Depends where you're standing.
And it takes place, and it's all of this revolves around one. His name is Ken Webster, who lives in an 18th century brickstone cottage style house, which is called Meadow Cottage. So that's where this kind of takes place. Ken Webster is the name that we get from the events that take place because it comes from a lot of the details and a lot of the most of the narrative comes from a book called The Vertical Plane that was published back in, I believe it's like the 80s. And it documents a lot of this, and it tells a whole story of what goes on. Like it's been out of print for a while. Like I couldn't find an actual, like if you want to get a paper copy, it's like $70. You can find the PDF. You can find the PDF, but you can find the PDF pretty quickly, which is what I did.
You can spill that fucking wine. I know it.
It's gonna happen.
He's gonna dump it all over himself.
Yep.
Continue down, sorry.
So Ken Webster may be a pseudonym. I've seen that mentioned a couple times as from what it is. I don't know if it's an actual real person. But from what we know from the story is that Ken Webster is, I believe, in his 30s, like he's 32, 34. And he's at this time, the victim. He's renovating this dilapidated cottage that they had there. He recently moved into. He's living there, I guess, while he's an economics teacher at the local school, and he lived with his girlfriend Debbie, who's 19, and another friend named Nicola Baguli.
Dude, it must suck living in England and having a house built in the 1800s. I have a house built in the 1970s and dealing with like appraisals already. They're like, oh, you put new cabinet doors in? We're going to say that house is now built in the 2000s. I'm like, but it wasn't. What the fuck? How does that work? You're like, no one talks about how when you get your house appraised, your house time travels. You could have a 1950 house, and if you put a new doorknob on your fucking front door, the assessment will be like, oh, that's a new copper doorknob. Yeah. You know what? We're gonna say your house is built in 1980s now. Because
that's like how they say stuff's
at all. What are you talking?
It's like how they say stuff's made in the USA, dude, but no, like they put it together. They put the pieces together in China, and then they just put it together in the USA.
That is exactly how it works. Still, have you ever talked to someone from BC Assessment? That's exactly how it works. It's mind-boggling.
I have 2 permitted additions to my house, and a couple unpermitted. And my house on my assessment still says 1974.
Dude, so I called because my house jumped 20%. I was like, this is crazy. What's going on? And they were like, yo, the MLS listing says there's new kitchen cabinets in there. I was like, yeah, cabinet doors. And he's like, well, that bumps the house. We have it now listed as your house was built in 1977. We have it bumped into a 1990s house. I was like, oh, dude. But it's not a 90s house. What are you talking about? I did call.
Is it in the fucking... are you going to court or what? What's going on here?
No, I'm going to have to... I'm disputing the assessment.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my house is not built in the 90s. And he's like, no, we understand. But based on the renovations, it's now listed as a 1990s house. I was like, okay, but it's not. My house in time travel. Everything else was built in the 70s. I was like, what are we doing? So imagine having an 1800s house. They're like, whoa, is that a fucking gas oven? We're up in this. This is now a 1970s house.
The concrete starting to crumble. You're like, yeah.
You're like, it's a fucking brick castle. You're like, okay. It's falling apart, dilapidated, moss everywhere. You're like, what?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the case that I got from reading about the the renovations that are going into this Meadow Cottage, because it's basically like 3 rooms or 3 or 4 rooms. There's two, like a bedroom upstairs. There's the downstairs is like the living room / kitchen area. There's like a back room where Nicola stayed. I guess she had just done a stint and come back from East Africa, is what it says in there, and she's staying back there with like the band equipment, which I believe like Ken is in a band with John and Stennett. Are 2 other people that are featured in this story that kind of pop in and out, but it's very much like one of those, I guess, like, kind of not like just one of those weird living situations where they just kind of like moved into this house and it's just like, it's not, it needs a lot of work. Like they have people working on it in the summertime, like renovating it and stuff like that. So people are going in and out of the house like all the time. So you have like the weird stuff is like this stuff happens was 1984 is when when the events start taking place. So it's not even like the frequency stuff starts off, because the story starts off like Poltergeist. The first kind of weird stuff that starts happening is they spot this set of 6-toed footprints that appear to like walk up one of the kitchen walls. Like it's kind of like they see them on the walls. And the weird thing is like they sit there and they look at these and they kind of sit there for, I don't know, a couple months, and they're just kind of like, yeah, they're just there. That's weird. Like they're just like, they had, I think I saw a couple of photos where it's like they had photos of these just like what appear to be footprints.
Well, I mean, this is before the days of magic erasers too. So what are you going to do? You're probably just like, well, it's fucked now.
You roll a quick coat of paint over top.
That's what they did.
Quick coat of lead paint.
Once they got around to painting the kitchen, they painted over these footprints. But the day after, Ken said or reported that he saw these footprints reappear, but in a slightly different position. So he's like, it wasn't like that they just came back. Or
that's a classic painting mistake, Dan. That's a classic painting mistake. He didn't strip the old paint good enough, right?
He didn't degrease the wall.
Didn't degrease the footprint, right? The grease that is on the foot. So the paint didn't adhere to the greasiness of the footprint, right? So what happened is probably humid. I'm guessing high humidity, right? In that old house, probably drafty, right? And the paint just does not adhere, peels right off those footprints. That's what's happening here, Dan. Classic.
It's a different spot, though. It's a different spot of footprint.
He said they were from his world of weird here. In his claim, they were just a little bit like he said that they weren't the same footprints because they were in a slightly different position than he remembered them being in. So he's like, no, it wasn't that they soaked through the paint or anything like that. He said that.
Did you just spill a little bit?
Just a little bit.
It's gonna get progressively worse.
Like a spill.
Bray's just gonna be slopping it all over the place.
There was a little bit of
drip off the cup.
He's gonna just be basting in Renner Red at the end of the.
Just the pillow behind me soaked.
He can't. He's not going to be able to go to the bathroom the whole show, or else his tail will be up.
Well, the great thing is the cord is long enough. I can walk to the bathroom with the mic.
Oh, so for the first time ever, you will hear Braden shit his pants.
Yeah, I can take
the
podcast. And the toilet is literally 5 feet from me. I could walk over. This is a dream. This is a dream situation for me, really. So these footprints have shifted.
Yeah, so he's thinking that these footprints came back after they painted them. So there's already some kind of their general feeling that something kind of creepy is starting to go on, and stuff ramps up like pretty quickly from what they report. So they see these footprints, and then 2 days after the footprints had been painted on and then came back, they had gone out to go get some food for the week or whatever. They had gone grocery shopping. They had come back and they had put everything into the cupboards, but they left a number of items out because they couldn't fit anything into these cupboards. I guess they hadn't installed their 1984 cabinets. I guess, I don't know, but they said that when they went up at night, everybody went to bed. And, expecting the stuff to be there in the morning, they came downstairs and they saw that there was a number of cat food tins that were neatly ordered in a pyramid, like striking out from a brick corner pillar. So one of the pillars, there was like a pyramid of cat tins that they had put there. And
But they didn't have a cat.
I think they fed some. I think they're in the book. There's
They fed
mentions
strays?
of there's like a mention of like cats, like neighborhood cats. So I don't know if they
Irresponsible
owned a
pet
cat.
owners.
So it's So I don't
Those
know
are
if
the
they
worst
owned a
cats
cat.
around.
Yeah, they are.
Thinking they
But
just
they did
walk into
mention
your house. They don't
some
fucking
cats,
live
yeah.
there.
Dude, they just poop everywhere.
They shit everywhere.
Like street cats, every garden bed.
Yeah, you just pulling
every,
some
like,
weeds in your front garden. Pile of fucking cat
dried
shit.
old cat poo rocks. Like, are these rocks? Nope. Cat poo.
Cat poo.
So originally the suspect is John, which is one of the band members that I guess lives intermittently at the house at sometimes crashes there on occasion. He's mentioned sometimes in the book when they come in, they have their little jam
that's
sessions.
Classic John making a tuna can pyramid.
They're like, I guess he had it's mentioned that he had some kind of, a weird sense of humor. So they thought this was something maybe that he had done. But they're also thinking that perhaps, this made them kind of realize and take notice that the cottage is not particularly secure. They pretty much said anyone could get in or out, like without any real effort. It's an 18th century cottage.
The
like,
doors,
those
there's
kinds
just
of
no
things.
door.
Yeah. It's like a latch.
It's just one of those wooden plank doors.
It's a fucking bead curtain.
So 2 nights later, they
Anyone
find
who can figure it out can get in. Just push the beads away.
Kind of just
So after this little demonstration of a paranormal weirdness, 2 nights later, they find another stack of items, which is it was like a single stack, approximately about, they said 4 feet high. And it was like they said it was a couple of 2-liter bottles of lemonade, a packet of dry cat food, and a kitchen roll, all stacked on top of each other and like in a precarious kind of position. So it's not like really stable, but that's like they had them stacked all the way up about 4 feet high.
Sean's getting good. This is impressive.
John's getting pretty good at this.
This is some of his best work.
So then, a couple of days after that, this is all still being marked as like kind of super weird, but still kind of on the funny side. Like they're still kind of just being like, oh, this is kind of silly. Maybe we have a visitor, who knows? Like, I guess nobody is super worried about it at this point, but it is like, I think this is when Ken Webster starts to describe in the book, like there's starting to become like a palpable feeling of wrongness at the cottage. Like
there's
just like
ectoplasm oozing from the ceiling.
Yeah, or people just became a little bit more paranoid, like something weird is going on.
One of them started referring themselves as the Keymaster.
Yeah. There's only Zool. So then at one point, Nick and Deb are sitting around having a little fireside chat at one point, and then they realize, and then they have this feeling that there is like a sudden temperature drop, and this accompanied by a strong gust of wind that came under the door from the kitchen area, and they said it was like it ended up like picking up. What they observed is they picked up like the day's paper, which was folded up on the floor, I guess about 6 feet from the door, and then it flipped it up into the air, and then it tore it into 3 sections, and then it fell down to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's cause for concern.
Yeah, like
That's
in front of them.
poltergeist fucking stuff right there.
Yeah, it's poltergeist shit. Like I was like, that's kind of weird. You got sudden temperature drops, then you got stuff picking up papers and then throwing it everywhere. I'm like,
shredding paper.
Really weird.
I mean, that's hard to John. Like, I don't know. That's some like David Blaine stuff going on. Right?
Some street magic.
Yeah, John is getting real good. They're like, this is getting too much. We're gonna have to fucking evict this guy. He's too weird.
So after these happen, the stacking of stuff is mentioned periodically through the story. So we're about to get to the actual Dodleston messages part here. But like the stacking of objects is something that would keep happening on like every few days on occasion. And then you have another
What
talk
kind of
like
objects besides the cat tins?
It's mostly just stuff. Like it would just be like things, paper, like stuff from around the house. Like it would just
Made
be
a
just weird
perfect
things.
perfect house of cards, I heard.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of weird, like a whole bunch of stuff stacking.
3 decks of actually 3 deck house of cards.
There will be
just
like,
a perfect Jenga, fully
Perfect.
stacked, but like already played. You know what I mean? Like the max level you could possibly get it.
Yeah.
Jenga'd.
Like it was built from the top down.
Yeah,
Kind of like the pyramids.
exactly. Yeah,
So at this point, Nick, I guess, decided that she wanted to try her hand at like writing sketches and dialogue. So she kind of there's a mention like she wanted to become like more of like a writer and these things because she was kind of one of those souls that just kind of like flipped around back and think she didn't really have a job from what I mentioned. Like she's just one of those friends that like hangs out at the college and just needs somewhere to like crash for a while. And then it's like, well, she gets her life together, I guess. But she starts getting into this.
We've all known a girl like this.
She's like, I want to start writing sketches and stuff. Oh no, you know what? She wanted to join an alternative cabaret show.
Ooh, that's called
That is what
also known as stripping, I heard.
Yeah, wasn't. That's what it says in the book. It says alternative cabaret.
That's exactly what it is.
show.
Exactly what that is.
It was like
I'm not
her
stripping,
goal.
Dad. I'm just
I'm doing alternative Cabernet. Yeah.
So at Ken Howard High School, where Ken Webster taught, they had a number of these BBC microcomputers, and at least 8 of them which had a word processing chip in it called Edward, EDWORD, which I thought was pretty clever, but it's pretty funny. Edward, that's like their MS, it's like their Microsoft Word. That was their word processing thing.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to type and save and stuff like that.
I kind of remember having a computer. I don't know if it was similar to this one, but like one of the first computers we had in our house, and you would turn it on and it would just be like basically just a flashing dash, and all you could do is type.
Yeah. It's like your MS DOS or whatever. Yeah. It's like, it was like, so it didn't really have like an operating system in it. It was like it just had like a page of, it was like a file system.
A digital typewriter.
No, they were using it to play. And he does mention that some of these were used to like play, kids in the school would use them to play like Space Invaders and stuff. There were computer games on these
like
things.
chess and like other very basic games.
Yeah. Very basic games, old school. So with the Edward and everything, and Ken thought it would be a good idea to bring this. I don't know. It sounded like he was just trying to get Nick like out of the house, especially. It was like maybe this will speed it up the process of her getting out of the house sooner. But he says he wants to bring back this back to the cottage, hook it up, and he teaches her how to use it. I guess she loves it, and starts writing. Whatever, she starts penning up some sketches for her alternative cabaret debut, I suppose. So they have it for a couple of weeks. And then a Sunday evening in December, Ken and company are returning from an evening visit to a friend's house. They had spent a couple hours of Sunday evening there, and they came back and he noticed that the computer was still on. Nobody had turned it off. Like they were kind of, it's kind of became a habit as to do. And the screen wasn't showing Edward normally where it would be, like, because that's what Nick mainly used it for. He figured she had just, either hit the break key, which is like, oh, really old school, but like gone back to like a directory or something like that. So Ken said he booted up the Edward program, and then he wanted to take a look at the index to see what Nick had been writing, just kind of see, he's curious about what she'd been writing.
Oh, dude, what a slime ball. What a slime ball. He's like, hopefully she wrote her secret messages in here. That's what he's doing.
Secret
Fucking
messages on your
perv.
microcomputer.
Right, you know what I mean?
On the 3.5-inch
diary.
floppies.
Yeah,
Diary,
exactly.
Yeah.
And she was right. It was a 3.5 floppy.
No one talks about it. Yeah. That was the peak of computer storage, was the 3.5-inch floppy.
Oh, dude,
That was so cool. Remember you had like you had a
disc.
floppy fucking organizer.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
grade like 6 or 7, you're doing like the typewriting program or whatever. You had to put in your floppy disk to remember where you were at.
Hell yeah. Floppies were fucking
It was like
dope,
3,
dude.
what were they, 3 megabytes or something? Like tiny little storage.
Awesome.
So,
they were so fun too.
They're just cool. And then you could
So-
slide them back and forth and ruin them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely different. So on the 3.5 floppy that they had, there was
What
a
color
file.
was the floppy? Was it a green
They
floppy?
didn't say. They didn't
Blue
describe
one?
it.
Too bad.
I think this is probably black. The 84 is probably just only
Yeah,
black.
probably.
That was-
or you know that weird like stone gray
Yeah.
Bad color.
The
or a beige maybe.
Ugh.
And there's-
there was a file that he found on there with a 3-letter name, KDN, was present on the floppy disk. Now, this was kind of strange, and Nick Ken realized this because Nick normally had single letters designating her files, like D, K, whatever. Like she would only just type like one letter to designate her files. And then there was also some other data on there. I guess there were timetables from a friend because they had borrowed this disc. Like it was, they borrowed this, so they had some old timetables that a friend or a coworker.
Dude, you got to remember
of Ken's.
this. You got to remember, like, if you're thinking about like for the time, like even though this is like a 3 megabyte, this is like buying like a terabyte hard drive now. Like that's probably this thing was probably pricey.
So, but it was, yeah, like anything, it was just probably it's just borrowed file. But the file contained this strange poem writing that kind of has all of it was written very strangely. It had it's got this. When you look at it, like in the book, they have it actually typed out, and it's got like the actual, like, I guess with some of the letters are like intermittent, like capital, like alternating capital and lowercase lettering. Like it's really inconsistent.
Ken space, capital D space, EB space, NIC. That kind
Right.
of weird stuff.
The book actually has like the translations of how, like, to make it easier to read on some of these.
Is it like a
But
cipher?
This one is like maybe.
Those like capitals and mix of capitals and lowercase?
So the very first one is basically it goes, Ken Deb Nick. True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn, pretty flower, turn towards the sun, for you shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. Get out your bricks. Pussycat, pussycat, went to London to seek fame and fortune. Faith must not be lost, for this shall be your redeemer.
You should have read
First
that.
off,
You should have read
shitty
like
po-
that you were
shitty po-
God.
Shitty poem. First off,
Poem
And
songs, yeah.
that is the same. You're the same mind as Ken Webster when he read this, because he's like, this is so cliche garbage. Like, what is this?
like, whoa, she sucks at poems.
He's like, she's never getting out of here.
Yeah. Holy fuck. She better get a job. She's never going to make any money writing these poems.
But yeah, it's like, so he borrowed this for a couple, and I think everybody kind of got a kick out of it, but nobody was really sure who wrote this. I think he asked Nick about it. She didn't really remember writing this. But nobody was really sure like who put this on there. But at this point, you're kind of still like, well, maybe it was on there before. We just didn't notice it.
I love how when you say like Nick didn't really remember writing it, because that is also the description that I read, which I thought was funny, because I was like, it's like she was embarrassed. She was like, I don't know. What did you think of it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I did. Was it good?
Was it good? Did you think it was good? No.
What'd you think of it?
I don't really remember it.
It sucked. Yeah, it wasn't me. I don't know.
That's fine. It
I
couldn't have been
no
me.
idea.
Like,
News to me.
So Ken would go ahead and take the computer back to his school, because he just kind of borrowed it. I guess like he was just able to borrow them, but then he had to bring it back, which is like, feel this nuts, because you had to bring everything. It wasn't like, it's not like Braden who could bring a single tower PC. It's like you had to haul everything. You had to haul the monitor, the disk drive, like the keyboard, like you have to have all this stuff.
Yeah, they had disk drives. Yeah, and they were heavy too.
Yeah, so it's like you had to haul all of that stuff. So he returned it back to the school, but he would go ahead and borrow the equipment again in February after the holidays, after the holidays finished up. So in February, he brought it back. And then this is when it gets a lot weirder, because there would be another cryptic message was found under the file name Reate, Reate. So this one was written, and has a lot of like strange spelling for some of the words. It's written all in caps.
Read it as God.
This one's like, I write on behalf of many. What strange words you speak. This one's not written by like God, because this one's written by what they think is somebody like an actual. It sounds like an actual person. By then? Well, this would be at the end of the message. It's signed LW, right? That's the initials LW.
All right, read it in Old English then. That Old English accent.
Yeah. I cannot. It's like I'm laughing too hard.
You're the best voice actor of all time. You can do anything.
Yeah. I write on behalf of many. What strange words you speak, although I must confess that I too have been badly educated. Sometimes it seems changes are somewhat obstructive. For many, they disturb me sleeping in my bed. You are a worthy man who has a fanciful woman and who live in my house. I have no wish to alarm you, for it is only since the half-witted fool ripped apart mine confines have I been tormented at nights. I have seen many changes. Lastly, the schoolhouse and your home. It is a fitting place, with lights which the devil makes, and a costly things which only my friend Edmund Gray can afford, or the king himself. It was a great crime to have stolen my house. Signed, LW.
I could picture you with like a really thin pencil mustache when you were reading that.
Yes.
The interesting thing with this is because like they think that this person, based on the writing stuff, is like someone from the past. So it's like my brain goes to is like, well, there's two options from this. There's either that there's a ghost in the machine, like there's a spirit, like a poltergeist of this person who inhabited the house and is now communicating through this computer, which is a good theory. However, the theory that I like even better is that there's an 1800s weird guy living in this house who just shows up and there's a computer in his house. And he's like, what is this? Fuck? And then he starts hitting the keys. He's like, no. He starts typing this out. He figures it out how to use it, and he's just sending messages to the future. That's the version of this story that I choose to live in. I do not like that the ghost writes in this computer. I like the theory of the computer shows up. The computer somehow is breaking space and time.
That would be what is described later, kind of a situation that's kind of going on. So yeah, the grammar that's used in the messages is pretty unusual and remarkable. Kim kind of thinks like this is what gives them their first clue that they
Shakespearean.
They read these messages and they're like, yeah, this sounds like somebody who's like speaking from the past, using mine and thine and all of that stuff. Yeah, so you're kind of using like this is 18th century or something. Yeah, 15th, 16th century, something like that.
The ladies.
And so Ken and his company kind of like on a lark decide that they're going to reply to the message. They figure, I think they made, and I think this is just kind of one of those things that's like, it's like a Ouija board. It's like a Ouija board that kind of like, they're like, we'll just see what happens, And
it's not, the interesting thing is, it's like, for them, it's not like they have the internet then, right? In 1984, there's no internet or anything. So it's like, the options are it's either someone in the house or something fucking weird is happening, because someone would have to actually interact with that computer to do this.
Physically interact with the computer.
And not like physically interact with the computer, but also like know what to do in a time where not a lot of people knew what to do with computers.
Yeah, it's so they kind of like they create a new file, and I think they marked they kind of addressed it to LW, and they said in their response they're like, well, this sounds ASL. Like somebody's from the this is how are we gonna find out if this person actually is from the past? Like, we'll tell them like where we're from, and kind of give them some information and try to figure out if this is an actual person from the past. So in their response, they say, in the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, dear LW, thank you for your message. We are sorry for disturbing you. What would you like us to do? Did you live in a house on this land in about 1620? Do you want us all to tell more about our time? Why write a poem? Who is Edward Grey? Is he related to the Egerton family? Do you have a family? Is the King James or Charles Stuart? Who is in charge of the house? Was the village Dodleston in your life? And how many families lived here? Thank you very much for your messages. Thank you for not making us afraid. Ken, Deborah, and John.
Dude, I've been around enough chat rooms as a teenager to know that in like 2 more text exchanges, they're sexting.
100%.
Like
right? They're right there.
What did they call it? What did they call it in chat rooms before sexting? Where you would just be like,
just sex chat or something.
Sex chat? Is that what it was called?
I think so. Something like that.
You remember sitting around the room with all your boys, like 13 years old, getting a little sex chat going on with someone?
That's so funny.
Probably another group of
friends.
100%. 14-year-old boys. That's what's happening here. That's where this is going. Where this is headed.
The time traveling prepubescent boys.
Yeah.
So what
are you wearing?
Yeah.
What thou breeches look like?
They start corresponding with this person, and eventually the communicator names himself identifies himself as Lucas Weinman. And it's kind of funny how they would communicate by just creating new files. So like the first one would be like LUK1, and then that would go to Luke, and then the next one would be Ken1. That would be from Ken to Luke. Like it's kind of goofy how they create these like separate files to each one. And what comes out, the details that they do get, is that he's living in a house on the site of Meadow Cottage during Henry VIII's marriage to Catherine Parr at some point between 1543 and 1547 is what they conclude.
Which means the computer is time traveling.
Yeah. And I think he talks about like, they're like, how are you communicating? How are you using this computer? And the guy is just saying that this thing, this box with lights is what he kind of calls it. I think there's a certain term that he uses.
It was like the devil's lights or something.
Yeah. It's something like that, but there's like I don't know. There's like I think like a historic kind of term that they use for it. But yeah, it's basically the devil's lights or something like that. But he says it just kind of pops up. And then he drops the bomb that he says, I've seen you interacting with it, so I can figure it out. So he's saying that he can see them at some points. Like he's able to see them or observe them.
Weird like time bubble going on here where it's like there's some weird thinning of something going on where it's like people in this house are seeing and experiencing each other's like realities at the same time.
Well, is the past version of the computer, is it just like floating there? Is it just,
dude,
that's what it sounds like from some of the correspondence. That's what they sound
thought of ghosts, because we always think of ghosts as people like things in the past, but based on this guy's description of what's happening, is like he's seeing them as ghosts because they don't notice him, but he can see them, and they're like ghosts for him, right? They totally ignoring him, interacting with this fucking thing like future ghosts. That's crazy. I never even
like
thought
a different
about
timeline, different times river.
Yeah, and he's just like, yeah, this is crazy. This is my house, and I can see these people.
And they're just
wearing
living
these
their normal
weird
life.
clothes.
Yeah. And then apparently Lucas can also communicate by like using like poltergeist stuff, because they're saying that he signs his name like a number of times, like on that brick pillar where the cat food tins had originally.
Dude, it's like the movie Ghost. He can see the cat food tins, and for the first little while he can't do anything with them, and he's like, oh, I can stack them now. Like I can actually manipulate their reality.
Dude, I just checked the chat. Someone says, you look like a fucking strange Jabba the Hutt, and now I can't unsee it. Just how your lane.
Misago Saga Solo.
Kilia Kaliokuka.
Just how your lane is too perfect.
So, so yeah, they would correspond with Lucas for months. It kind of goes on, and then so it goes back and forth for a number of chapters in the book when I was reading it. But it's like they have a lot of things. They find out a lot of Lucas's daily life and his things. Like he enjoyed brewing ale from barley. He visited a lot of it. A lot of it has to do with like English history. So it's like some of it's out of my like my wheelhouse, but just reading a lot about like English history, they were trying to figure out and pin him down and be like, where exactly is this guy actually from the past? Does he have knowledge of past events that have already happened?
And he seemingly
things.
does. Like, that's the thing. Like, they're asking questions and he's giving answers that they're like,
that seem accurate. Yeah. Some of them seem accurate. And then some of them they said are kind of off, but not off enough to be like,
they're off by like a few years or something a lot of times. Right?
Yeah. So they have some,
like
some
ask him like who the king is, like a bunch of stuff. And he seems to answer accurate.
Yeah. And he can, then accurately. And then sometimes he's evasive about other things. Like it is a kind of, they kind of going back and forth. But at some point during the correspondence, a friend of Lucas's, or stated a friend who claims to be a friend of Lucas, starts communicating with them because it turns out like Lucas has been arrested and is being held by the local sheriff, Sir Thomas Falshurst, due to his communications on the light box. Like I either told somebody witchcraft. Or somebody found it. Yeah, basic witchery is what they kind of are holding him on, and they put him like under house arrest. So there's a lot. Could you imagine?
They're like, "What is this box?" Like, look at the word. Like trying to explain that in 1600s. You're dead. You're burned at the bike.
So on the 27th of this, so now that it gets even weirder because on the
this will be my last correspondence.
Well, that's what it kind of comes down to, because like Lucas isn't sure what's going to happen to him, and the weird thing is that a lot of weird things, but Ken and his company, Debbie and Nick, have all become like emotionally attached to Lucas. Like they all have this thing where it's like they are really, at least in the book, it's like they're really worried about Lucas and his fate. Like, is he going to be burnt at the stake? Is he going to be hanged? Like they're really worried. And when they're typing out their correspondence to him, they're like, please respond. Let us know you're okay.
They were fucking burning people at the stake for way less than typing on a magical floating computer.
But they're having like a good amount of freak out because they're like on the edge of tears at some points about their worrying about Lucas and like what's going to happen to him.
Could you imagine? Imagine how innocent these people are in 1984, where they're worried about like someone they're chatting with. It was like nowadays we watch people get blown up on our feed. We're like, oh, sick. Sick.
He deserved it.
Yeah, holy shit.
You'd be like,
and these people are like,
deserved it.
I've sent 4 letters to this weird person from the past. I hope he's okay.
Hope he's doing all right.
So on the 27th of April, they like there's this, I guess they had gotten a message from Lucas, who like in like one of his, I don't know, like one of his, before he got arrested or after he got arrested, he comes back with a correspondence saying that, I've been typing on this light box that your friend from 2109 brought the box of lights. And they're like, what? He's like, because he says in his correspondence, he says, you said your time was 1985. I thought you were also from 2109, like your friend who bought the box of lights, pray. And they're like,
oh, so there's like there's another person involved in this.
Someone brought it there.
So this is before Lucas got arrested. So he drops this bomb, and you're like, what? And then he gets arrested.
What's because part of me was like, I was kind of curious just because of the timeline of these messages, where if like the because of how time's working, if these messages are coming in quicker for LW in his time than they are for the people sending it, if you know what I mean. Like if he's getting them, because it seems like I'm like, I have a hard time believing that in 1600 this guy's going to be typing in this light box for months, being like, "Well, this is cool." Whereas like maybe he's getting these messages for in his time like within a day. You know what I mean? And like he's responding to them right away. And then he goes to tell someone. Like that's kind of where my brain goes to, because I'm like, I just can't imagine someone in 1600s being able to keep this under wraps for months.
It's the guy.
They
No,
have
it's
a
the dude
fucking
who
power
went
box.
back in time from 2100. He's just fucking with the guys in 1980s. He's now back in 1600 or whatever. He has his computer.
Oh,
Somehow he's got some like consciousness fucking array that can project it through the ether outside of time itself. And now he's just fucking with other timelines because it's hilarious.
dude, what a shitty computer that survives the test of time. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
So it is. So they have this after Lucas gets arrested, they're communicating with somebody named John, which claims to be Lucas's friend. But then they also get a message from 2109, and 2109 writes, "First, what help do you require?" Because they're asking them, like they try to respond back, and they're like, we want to help Lucas. Like how can we help him? And like clear his name or prove that we exist. Like what can we do? And it says, if you wish to know Lucas Wainman's true name, we can say no more than the man named Peter has it, page 26. The person whom you refer to as John is not to be trusted. Also, there is nothing to fear outside man, true, but you are not fully capable of knowing just what man really is. Without knowledge, you have fear. With fear, you create your own nightmares.
see, I don't think this message right here, grim. 2, there's no fam, there's no LOLs, you know what I mean? There's no emojis, fucking, you know what I mean? Like to say this is someone from 2109, I was like, they should have, I would imagine, I guess if you were from the future and you knew you were talking to someone in the past, you would probably be conscious. Like, would I hit someone up in 1980s with an LOL? Probably not.
You just have an AI write. You just have an AI write your email to someone.
Yeah, I'd be like, can you write this for someone in 1984 so they'd understand?
Yes,
that's probably what I would do. Yeah, you're right.
And it would probably come out as real dumb, dumb, but like really weird, like this one.
Yeah, radical.
Yeah, it would be like written in the script of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So they would have this, and so now they start corresponding with the 2109 group because they identify themselves as we. They don't give like a real name.
And
they just say
again,
we. So it's like a group or a single person. They're not really sure.
So again, for people who aren't who don't realize like how computers work back then, this isn't a chat room. This isn't anything. This is basically like having a drive on your computer, and then just as you like hit refresh, a new document is there.
Yeah,
like
every time they would come back, like they couldn't. But it just seemed like no one could ever be in the house. Yeah, right? No one could be in the house at the time. That's what's kind of like what would trigger. Like it wouldn't happen if everybody was in the house or watching the computer. Like you had to leave and like come back. Normally they would go and they would leave and go do stuff, go to work or something like that, and they would come back whenever they were borrowing the computer at the time, and they would find while they were corresponding, they would find a new file on the computer with the correspondence message in there. And like I mentioned before, the poltergeist activity returned on the 15th of May, about 9 a.m. Debbie says she went and dropped Ken at school. She returned to find furniture, like all the furniture stacked 6 feet high in a pile. And then when she stepped back to get a good view of this, like the door slammed, the front door had slammed like right behind her. So it's like, so they have all of this stuff is going on. So you still have poltergeist activity kind of going on while you're having all this stuff. And I guess it had gotten to such a point that, Ken and Debbie were like on the rocks, like they were yelling at each other. I guess he was saying a couple of times, like, yelling. There was a lot of yelling. There's a lot of crying about what they wanted to do with the cottage. Like, are we going to move out? Like, are we going to sell it? Like, what are we doing with this thing? All the while, Ken has a hobby of, I guess, like because he mentions it multiple times, of restoring classic Jaguar cars. So he's also working on that. Like that's the whole thing.
The guy's got to have side hobbies,
Yeah, I guess like that's the whole thing. talks about taking the cars to the shop, different shops, and getting restored and all this. It's weird. Weird piece of the story.
And he was just a teacher.
Yeah,
imagine being able to do all that in a teacher salary.
Yeah, but they do.
It's
but
good
they
times
like
to be a boomer.
They do take the event seriously because
I'm just
they do
gonna fix up Jaguars.
Yeah,
no big deal.
I got one at the auction for $100.
Jaguar.
A Jaguar. They do get in contact with the Society for Psychical Research, which back then was kind of like their skeptic society, which they wanted to have them come and investigate the phenomenon, to tell them like, hey, we're not crazy. And so apparently they came, they had people come when eventually they got arrangements kind of figured out to have some people come there, and they hooked up microphones to see if anybody was coming into the room. They made sure all the doors were taped shut so nobody could get in without leaving some evidence that they had gone into the room. And the 3 times that they came, the 3 occasions that they came, they said each time they left with no answers. That there was no experiences at all. Like nothing happened when they were there. So every time this stuff happened, basically all we have to rely on is Ken Webster and his reports. And we, like, full disclosure, like a lot of this stuff he says a lot of it he typed up from memory. Like a lot of stuff comes from memory because the original floppy disk had gotten lost. He said that a housekeeper or something had gotten thrown out or something like that. The other times they had all that stuff just got lost. Like either computers got wiped or whatever. But a lot of this stuff is just coming from his memory.
If you can lose the OG moon landing footage, you can misplace.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Your correspondence for the 16th century.
Now we're talking.
Now we're on this level.
Right? Yeah.
80s. That's when the moon landing conspiracy came back, right? Somewhere in the mid 80s or something. That's when they lost the tapes or wrote over them, they say.
Yeah.
It was 2109 the whole time. He wiped the fucking moon landing tapes.
It could have been him. It could have been Lucas Wainwright, aka Thomas Fowlhurst, I think eventually is what they find out. That's his real name. And they kind of, there's a funny thing where they talk about like, oh, why didn't Lucas give us his original name? And then they're saying that, oh, maybe he thought we were actually some kind of like demon or devil and he didn't want to give us his real name. So he just gave us.
Or there's like some rules to time traveling, and there was some, maybe whoever gave Lewis like the box to talk on was like, you can't do things to like change the future.
Yeah.
So you can't give your real name. You can't give too much info because whatever choices you make can have a cascading effect on changing things.
Yeah. It gets after,
which I mean, it seems like kind of crazy because to think about that, because the guy from 2109 going back and giving a computer to the guy in the 1600s would cause some fucking issues.
Yeah. After 2109,
the butterfly effect on that shit's got to be crazy. Ashton Kutcher waking up from that one, he's like, oh no, things have really changed.
After the 2109 group starts corresponding with them, it gets
no love for the butterfly effect reference. Nothing.
No, that movie sucked.
You guys don't remember?
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
They get this. It gets really convoluted after this point because at this point, Ken thinks that the group from 2109 is kind of like miffed, that he kind of gets the sense that they don't want him communicating with Lucas, and then they kind of figure that actually that 2109 may be editing some of the messages that Lucas or / Thomas is sending to them. So they start changing, like they develop a system where Lucas starts communicating them with actual paper and charcoal left out for him in the present. So Lucas is somehow able to see and hear Webster in the past. Like it gets really confusing after that. After like they come up with these systems about trying to
the movie Frequency, I think they like do scratches in the paint or something like that.
To
that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like
that's something that would only Lucas would be able to do to the present, that the future would not be able to intercept those messages beforehand.
So they
right? So if you ever find yourself in some sort of weird thing where you're discussing something with a past entity and you're worried that future entities are intercepting your digital communications, you can always work by like scratching something, getting the person in the past, like, you know, get that brick and mortar, like, you know, scratch some designs and bricks, right? Leave something for you physically, because it has to pass through you before it goes to the future. So those motherfuckers in the future can't do shit, right?
It's an elaborate, multi-dimensional, century-spanning ploy.
Buddy, that's why we write books. That's why we write books, because those fucking future assholes can't do shit, because the books have to pass through the now before it gets to them. So they can't fucking rewrite shit.
They can't edit that text.
Right? They can't edit that text.
So the correspondence would continue for another few months. Eventually, in Lucas's time, he says that the Grosvenor family, who is his landlords, demand that he leaves the house. So he's not able to. He figures he's not going to be able to have access to the light box anymore. So he leaves a final message, wishing Webster and all his friends well. And that's pretty much the end of that. Or you think it's supposed to be the end, but then. The thing is like in the book, they talk about in the epilogue that they did have a couple of correspondence with the 2109 people to get an explanation about what exactly is happening. And from them, they get this like explanation of saying that, you know, what has occurred is a strange, like something based on like magnetic ley lines.
Dude, it's a fucking weird phenomenon, like a weird time phenomenon.
They say there's like magnetic ley lines that they somehow became an access for, or the computer resonated with. Could you
imagine if some of these people that walk away and just vanish, like the truly vanishing, where it's like these people there's no rhyme or reason for them to go. There's a couple I can think of off the top of my head, like that one guy who just runs away from the airport and just fucking disappears. Like, I wonder if there's like these weird time phenomena. It's like as similar as ball lightning, where you just kind of step through and you're fucking somewhere else. Like space time folds on you, and you just like you're like, and now I'm somewhere else. And you're like, okay, that's it. Like you're now fucked wherever you are. If you get moved to the future or anything, like you're fucked, right? Like like it's just some weird time phenomenon. And that's what happens in this weird. They're like, we don't know, man. Some weird fucking wires got crossed. We have no idea. We're just experiencing a weird time phenomenon. Part of me was kind of wondering if it was like something to do with like where UFOs are coming. In the areas, because we've talked about like UFOs visiting multiple families, maybe in a matter of minutes for them, but a lifetime over the family. Or if there's something in the area that's creating this kind of like field, and this fucking computer and these people in this house are being affected.
It's easy. Right? This is how you tie it all together. Because you gotta think, we gotta step away from time and space and start thinking we're just all in some supercomputer, and this is all a network thing. Time doesn't have anything to do with it. There's in a different part of the hard drive, but somehow we can communicate. This has nothing to do with time and space. We're all digital. It's all a simulation. This is a different version, different realm.
And we're all things get a little weird.
Someone dropped the computer, it got a little scrambled. And now the insides are touching or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Some kid put a magnet. A
some fucking asshole dumped a whole fucking pint of A&W and fucking rum on the laptop, and then
the keys are crunchy.
And then the keys are crunchy, and because of the keys are crunchy. And the circuit board is soaked in fucking sugary syrup.
Dude, this is the perfect 80s plot for this movie. It's like,
someone dumps a Mountain Dew on the fucking
obviously a weird concoction. And then it's like something happens in the third, like right before the third act, something happens to the laptop, it gets destroyed. So we have to kind of reconcoct the same experiment to get it working again, so we can warn our friends in the past about what's about to happen.
All right, everyone's got to bring their laptop. We're going to have to start with one and just keep changing the mixture.
Right. What was it? It was Mountain Dew. 2 things of Captain Morgan Spice rum. 2 cough drops. Spill exactly
that
half.
That would be the conclusion of the Dodleston messages after they have another sporadic correspondence with 219, and then it kind of just stopped. I guess they either lost interest or something like that. But the at least the report in the book is that's when it ends, and then it's just the
kind of just open, right? It was like
it just kind of ends. They're just like they stopped getting messages, and then so they stopped bothering the computer, and then just nobody.
Because what was that? I remember reading about there was like a supernatural like research group or something that got involved in it, and then
that was the psychical research that I mentioned. Yeah,
well, and they, like the friends kind of so it's like if they're pranking. It's kind of like they're all or nothing, because they're either all involved in this prank or a hoax, or none of them are, because they like, from some of the readings I did, is like they would actually like make sure at times like they were all gone together before to come back, because they had actually suspected each other of doing this.
Well,
right. So then it was this weird thing where they're like, hey, could there be possibly that someone's like breaking in and doing this like at our house, like these weird scenarios? But then they're not stealing anything, they're just literally coming in to fucking type documents on a computer. Like that would be very strange.
Yeah. Well, the fact it's like they'd also had to know how the computer works, because it's like Ken only taught like Nick how to use it. Nick and probably Debbie to actually use it enough. But like, it's like you actually, back then you had to like train somebody on the computer. I mean, you still kind of have to today, but like it's a lot more difficult back then to kind of do it.
Well, the hoax, like, a lot of people say the hoax because if it's from like the 16th century English, like Old English, the way it was written, they've had like language experts say like, it's actually not, that's not how it would be written in Old English. Therefore, someone read a book and they tried their best. Well, there's people who study language like of different eras, and they're like experts in how it is, I guess. But
and I think I don't know enough about they weren't specific 16th century English history to kind of go back and go through things. But the book like has a bunch of their correspondence.
You know who was writing books back then that survived? Scholars. This guy LW was just a fucking layman. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're like, this doesn't sound like the fucking scholars of the
No, he was a layman. He went to university. He says in the thing, he did go to a university.
Yeah.
Like whatever. He is a learned man.
Well, he went to like Jesus College or something. What was it called? Fucking Jesus College or something.
I don't know if it was no, I think they said that like, there wasn't actually a Jesus thing. There's some explanations that they put in like post being like, oh, he threw some of these things in here to try, because he thought we were hoaxing him, so he would give them like fake information to be like if they actually were from the future or something like that. Like that's what they kind of justify it as saying. Yeah, he's trying to say like he knew that there's no Jesus College, but he told us there's a Jesus College, and then to see if we actually believed him. Yeah, so it's kind of that's what they kind of explain.
When people say like the hoax and stuff, they say like, oh, they got like historical facts wrong, which is like, if you're hoaxing, why would you get the simplest thing wrong if you're hoaxing?
Well, you can't go to the library and check it like instantaneously. So maybe they're just writing off the top of their head, you know?
Yeah, but you think if you're trying to pull a good if trying to pull a good hoax, you would do your research. But if you're just fucking around, then you wouldn't know, I guess.
Library wasn't open that day on a bank holiday.
Sunday, yeah. There's always a bank holiday. The fucking banks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird one for me, because I'm like, I want to say it's like it's a hoax, but I'm like, it would have to be perpetrated by the whole group of who doesn't know and was seemingly skeptic, or like it's just like a weird frequency phenomenon where you're like, these fucking, I just can't imagine a 1600s guy fucking had a computer. That's the ludicrous.
Well, they had they had typewriters
in the 1600s.
I don't know.
They had typewriters.
No. Not 1600s?
There's no fucking way.
Maybe a printing press. I can't remember when the printing press was invented, but like it probably had a printing press, but not everybody had this.
Because I guess you could.
Oh, like the home typewriter was not till early concept 1714. So we're still a little early.
So what you're saying is that this guy may have shown people this box, and then they started to work on the typewriter, seeing it.
or they thought he was
aliens
a witch.
dropped a little tech, like they dropped fucking
right
fiber optics and all the other stuff. They started this is well after, I guess. Well, I don't know. It's confusing. Like it's the person from 2109. They would have that technology to go back in time.
Why does a person in honestly, the concerning thing for me and the future of the human civilization is that somehow that's a good computer to bring back. You know what I mean? Like, where are we at in 2109 that we're back to like a fucking MS DOS
BBC microcomputer?
No, but
you know what I
these
mean?
computers
we're in
are
trouble.
Fundamentally the same as modern computers that is a million times slower.
Everybody's on Linux in the future.
Because like if you these are digital computers, so they have like all like the same like circuitry. It's just like obviously very elementary to what we have now.
Yeah.
So it's not like,
but it's not
like an analog computer and someone's like turning gears inside it. Like,
yeah, it's not like they're throwing onto it. It's like they're not, like if I was 2109, I'd go back, get a fucking cool cross generational fucking Arc Raiders trio going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's either it's an elaborate prank hoax. It's a time slip. A consciousness
or people
thing.
from the future don't use emojis.
But the
they love to write in old English still. Pretend there's love to pretend there's someone from someone
messaging. Yeah.
But here's the thing. One of the questions I want to ask you guys, like, say something like this happened to you, right? Because I was like thinking about this as a hoax, and it's so hard to believe this things. But it's like, imagine you were trapped in the future. Something happened. You wake up this morning, you go for a hike in the woods, and you step through something, and all of a sudden you're in the future. Like and you can communicate with the past. How are you trying to let people know that you're trapped or something's wrong? And you're like, I don't know. I have this weird power. I'm not in 2026 anymore. I'm in 2080, but I can communicate somehow. Like my phone's working, but I can't. I don't know what to do. Like, how would you try to make people believe you?
I mean, take a picture of something that obviously is from the future. I don't know, like you get a newspaper or something. I mean, it depends on what your circumstances in the future are.
That's what this guy on TikTok's doing. And
no one believes him.
No one believes him. Everyone's like, you're fake. It's fake. AI. It's fucking. And he's like, there's videos of him being like, Eiffel Tower. No one's here. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, part of me is I'm like, yeah, he's faking. This is pretty good. But another part of me goes, what if, man? Could you imagine could you imagine what a fucking haunting existence that would be? Where you're just like, there is no help. No one believes me. There is not a chance I'll ever get anyone to believe.
I just have a lot of questions to be like, how are you living? Like, where's the current, like, what currency are you using there? Like, how much, like, you'd have to, like, it's just so many things you have to go through.
The TikToks, he's like the only person, there's no one around.
Yeah, then I'd be like, how do I know you're in the future? You're just stuck in some other dimension. And like, however you got there, that's how you're going to have to get back. So sorry.
Yeah.
Like, nothing I can do about that.
I mean, it's
terrifying.
It's a cool case. It's a 50-50. I have no idea on this one. It just
also be like, what's the guy eating if there's nobody there? Like what? Like I've more questions. Like what's he eating if there's nobody there in the future?
One of the ones I saw.
Saw,
he was at a grocery store and he was showing the packages and everything's expired. Everything's expired. I was like, what an elaborate like plan. And I'm like, sure, with AI videos and stuff, I'm sure you can make it really good. Yeah. But like, yeah, with this one, I'm just like, I mean,
I don't know. Some of the grocery stores,
not a lot of people use computers.
Everything is.
So if it's not like, you would think it would have to be Ken. Like you would have to be Ken hoaxing because it's like he's the only one with the like knowledge of how the computers work.
Also, the fact that they lost everything. They lost all the original documents. Like they lost that disc. They lost the original disc that had the first stuff in it. Like a lot of the stuff they said was like written from memory. Those things. So you're kind of like, okay, so you guys were like super emotionally involved. Like you were on the verge of tears when Lucas was getting arrested in his correspondence. You're like, he's going to jail and telling you guys, I don't know if I'll ever see you again. And you guys are like taking long drives and crying about it in the car. It's in the book.
Yeah. Are you going to judge them for then losing the floppy disks?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure there was fucking tears shed when they walked on the moon. They had no problem losing those.
I don't know.
Right.
I was like, yeah, but but it's not like you have an organization that is in charge of this. It's just you. There's less room for less points of failure there. It's just like you 3 people.
And floppy disks, listen, how many floppy disks do you still have, Dan?
None, because I don't have any correspondence from the past, from the 16th century
if you had,
farmer.
How would you know?
Maybe it's the floppy drive itself that is the fucking...
Whatever tech we had was like that's why they got rid of like we can't have these people talking to the people in the future and the past.
That weird plastic disc and that sliding metal clip at the top, that was the magic connection.
Something
guarantee
with
there's
that.
still computers in the US government that run on floppy disks.
For sure.
Oh, 100%.
Wasn't something like they still keep like paper records?
Yeah,
only in some. There's
still some systems I think in the government that run on older like Windows Me, like they still run.
And you got to like
Windows
walk
XP
all the files
stuff
down to the vault every day,
like all some kind of crazy stuff.
I'm smart in a way because
it's coming.
Maybe they know something.
It's coming. The fucking singularity's coming, dude.
To vaporize all our tech.
It's gonna vaporize all our knowledge.
Anyways, anything else on the Dodleston messages?
No, it's fucking
pretty much it. I'm going to read a few beauties here.
Hell yeah.
Give me a second. I closed it by accident.
These people have unlocked the lower half of my stream here. And if you want to also unlock the lower half of the stream, full frontal.
Full frontal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to read down.
It's like a little snail coming out of his shell.
I might have read some of these before, but I haven't figured out a way to really check. When the month rolls over,
it's easier.
No, it's harder. If you're like last week was also January, but this is February, and Patreon just does not sort them very well. So anyways, these beauties went to patreon.com. They searched for Alien Theorists Theorizing. They supported the show. They're getting all the goodies. We got Justin Glamborn, Yolanda, Carlitos, Joe Duggan, Trevor Nankervis, and Nick Schubert. Actually, I do remember reading that. I remember
you read Schubert.
That.
Yeah. You read
You
Schubert.
got read twice, though. It's a great last name.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for supporting the show.
And as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on my thighs. See you later.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.